All right, we're back in the building. Y'all know what time it is on this Friday. I cannot believe it's Friday. Y'all know what to do. We're looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And if you could, make sure you like the video on your way in. Shout out to everybody who's in here and welcome. Welcome to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show, the barely classy morning show. This morning, I'm your host, ClassE of patreon.com/ClassEbeats. And by the way, you can check out the link that's in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. We got a great show for you guys today. Closing arguments have started in the Diddy trial. We had the prosecution's turn yesterday. We've got, the defense's turn today, and we're going to get into the actual transcript thanks to Inner City Press, looking at exactly what's being said, what case they're making, and if possibly Diddy is going to go free. I know we're talking about that. It's a real possibility. We got a couple updates that we're going to go through. We're going to got some hot takes we're going to start the show out with. And of course, y'all know it wouldn't be a live stream this week without talking about Karen Reed. We've got another interview that was done by the jury foreman in the Karen Reed trial. So we'll get into it here shortly. But before I do, I got to say what's up to the people, man. I gotta say what's up to the people. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Good to see all of y'all. We've got my awesome, amazing Amy is in here. Shout out to Amy. Slim Life New Jersey's in the building. Nana and Banana is up in here. We've got Les Cleaver, my guy. Sharon is in the building as well. Welcome, Sharon. Good to see you in here. We've also got CPE, my dog, is up in here as well. Good to see you. Good morning, my friend. We've got a couple of people on this. Kara Hampton's in here. We've got Pretty Eyes T. Trisha is in the building as well. Good morning. Good morning. Libby22 SC Girl is in here. Good to see all of y'all. If you could do me a favor, guys, I don't ask for much on this show, but the one thing I do ask is that you like the video on your way in. Not only is it free, not only does it help the channel continue to grow, but it lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, this channel, this live stream with more people. So if y'all could take a second, like the video. It's free, guys. All right. It's free. I know you can do it. I've seen y'all do it before, so please take a time to do that. And shout out to everybody who's done it so far. Dottie is in the building. Shout out to Amazing Grace is in here. Good morning. Good to see you in here. Keep It Moving New York is in the building too. We got Cynthia Hart's up in here. My guy Stephen G is in the building as well. And if you guys are feeling extra generous, you can share this video. You can share it out on X. You can share it out text message. You can share it to your group chat. Share it to your group chat. Unlike the types of things that Proctor was trying to send to his group chat. Either way, you can share it there. You can share it on IG. So if you guys are feeling extra generous today, share the video as well. And I appreciate it. Let me see what y'all are saying. I also am going to be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. So thank you again to everybody who goes the extra mile and sends in super chats. Grace says, have a great and grace day. Shout out to Dottie. I hope you have a great and grace day too. I love it. We got a couple super chats in here. Let me read these things real quick before we get started with the show. Slim Life New Jersey is in the building with the 10 bomb on this Friday. Says happy Friday, ClassE, Amy, and my amazing CEB family. Have a blessed day and weekend. Thank you, ClassE, for always putting out such great content for us. I try. I really do. Always remember, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. Thank you for that reminder, Slim Life New Jersey, and he definitely is. Amen. Amen to that. We got Les Cleaver in the building. Says with the five bomb, it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Rest in peace to the great. I'm gonna leave it alone. And in the best channel on YouTube ever. Oh my goodness. And all the ladies in the chat are hot. Amen. All right. Shout out to Les Cleaver. Y'all hear Les Cleaver, man? He's showing some love on Friday. We've got CPE with the 5 bomb. And he says, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Hope to see you all back on Monday. Be somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. It sounds like something they'd say in church. Be that somebody. Absolutely. We've got Stephen G in the building with the 3 bomb. Our guy from down under. You see him in the profile pic swimming with the shark. That's crazy. Shout out to Stephen G. Absolutely amazing, man. Thank y'all for the support. Again, if you guys haven't yet, make sure that you like the video on your way in. Likes are free, guys. All right. You can do it. I know it. Let me see. Excuse me, YouTube. Amy is #1. You effed up, ClassE. Don't need the doghouse appliance. What are y'all talking about? What did I say? Let me see. What happened? Did something happen in the chat that I missed? What happened with Proctor now? I guess this saga is not going away so fast. No, Proctor is in here. He's still talking, which I'm surprised about. How are y'all feeling on this Friday? Let me know. And thank you to Amy for reminding y'all to like the video. I hope everyone is having a blessed day. And I want to make sure I didn't miss any of y'all. Hi, gang. Amy, Proctor's the gift that keeps on giving. That is very, very true. My group chat would get me a federal charges. Oh my goodness. Well, you might need to change that group chat. Hey, y'all, sending my love to everyone. Thank you for being here. Who needs to watch the news when we have you? Oh my goodness. Oh man, thank y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get into the show. Again, if y'all haven't liked the video, make sure you do that yet. We're going to start out the show a little bit different today. We've got a couple of, we're going to call them hot takes real quick. We've covered a lot of things this week. And today I've seen some updates in the news that are going on. They weren't worth dedicating a full segment to, but I wanted to point them out to you guys and get your thoughts on them as well. So first up, we've got Tyrone Blackburn. We're going to have to start booing this man. I'm sorry. Again, you heard in the video that we released yesterday and what we reviewed on the live stream, Joe Tacopina talking about what's going on with his client, Fat Joe, and they're going against Terrence Dixon and Tyrone Blackburn. Lawsuits are flying back and forth, and Joe Tacopina had someone try to serve Tyrone Blackburn, right? Well, Tyrone Blackburn wasn't having it. He got in his car, sped off, and allegedly hit this person who was a process server. So now he's being released from jail, and they made a statement to, I don't know if they made it to XXL magazine, but they have the statement here from him, and we'll actually be able to see it on video. What does he say? Fat Joe's accuser's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, was interviewed outside the jail following his arrest for striking Joe Tacopina's process server with a car yesterday on June 25th. When asked why he was trying to avoid being served, Blackburn consulted with his lawyer, who told the interviewer Blackburn waived his right to be served in person. It appears as if this is somewhat of a setup, this lawyer says. Okay. According to documents independently obtained by XXL, Blackburn offered to waive service to process for his client, Terrence Dixon, not himself, which is why the attempt was made to serve him directly. Makes sense. Fat Joe's attorney, Joe Tacopina, has responded to XXL's request for a statement about the video with the following quote. Tyrone Blackburn really can't keep up with his own lies, says Joe. We have written correspondence that shows he never waived service of process. To the contrary, he refused to accept service. So it's truly ironic that Blackburn and his lawyer don't even have their own story straight. Blackburn is discrediting himself on camera, and soon his web of deceit will be fully exposed to the world to see. Oh my goodness. XSL has reached out to Tyrone Blackburn for comment. Obviously, haven't heard anything yet. Fat Joe sued Dixon and Blackburn for extortion and defamation in April over comments Dixon made on social media, accusing Joe of being in a sexual relationship with minors. Dixon and Blackburn responded by filing a $20 million lawsuit against Fat Joe, earlier this month with the same claims. All right, here we go. Here's the video, the awkward video. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This is super awkward to watch. Awkward video of Tyrone Blackburn here on the right and Tyrone's attorney on the left. Here we go.
Another question is, why was Mr. Blackburn trying to avoid being served by Fat Joe?
Again, that's let me just speak. So
he's talking with
my
his.
understanding, my client actually offered to waive service with jurisdiction, and
Look at Tyrone over here talking with his hands. Man, if you wanted to say something, say something. He's over here. See?
This again just shows even more why it appears as if this is
crazy.
Somewhat of a setup of Mr. Blackburn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one last question.
Yeah.
Mr. Blackburn, do you care to comment about the previous filings that you filed in terms of court cases where judges were saying that your court cases were incorrectly filed?
Again, because of the sensitivity of this case and the close proximity in time with it, I don't want
embarrassing
to make any attempt to use anything against him right now. So I think he's not going to answer that question this time.
Okay.
He said, we have no comment. Nah, these guys are looking bad. And you know, Joe Tacopina, he's sitting there, his chair leaned back, just waiting. Like, man, y'all want to keep doing this? We're going to do it. So I can't wait to hear from Joe and have him on the show. This is, it's sad to see that things are going this way from an attorney who should know better the way he's handled himself. And Joe even mentioned it before. He's been reprimanded by multiple judges throughout his career and also recently. So let me know what y'all think about this. Some of y'all said, what did y'all say? Suspicion haunts a guilty mind. That's a great statement as well. What else did y'all say? Yeah, let me see. I missed a couple of them. He just wanted to use dude as a speed bump. Dang. That's messed up. Let's go to our next hot take today. This one, oh boy. The rage bait is continuing. I try to avoid rage bait so much on X, but man, sometimes you see some of these things and you have to say something. I hate that I keep falling for this, but having the platform we have to breathe. We have to be a voice of reason at some point, right? Well, when it comes to everything that's going on with the Karen Reed trial, of course, some people do not know how to take an L and admit that they were wrong and walk away, right? Hank Brennan being one of them. Julie Grant, unfortunately, I hate to bring your name into this. You are one of them as well. And then we've got John DePetro is one of them as well. What did John have to say late last night, as he was relaxing, thinking about Karen Reed and her supporters? Check this out. John DePetro posted for the public to see that his thinking is, and I quote, did the Free Karen Reed movement operate as a criminal enterprise? What? A criminal enterprise, he says, is a structured organization engaged in ongoing legal activities, often involving multiple participants and a degree of planning and coordination. It's characterized by a hierarchy or structure, ongoing criminal activity, and often includes a combination of illegal activities with a legitimate business front. First of all, can I say, this question in and of itself is disgusting, to say the least. We have no knowledge of or have seen anybody acting criminally when it comes to the Karen Reed trial. The people, they were outside of the courthouse. They were peaceful. They abided by the law. There wasn't anything happening during the trial, before the trial, during the first trial, before the first trial. And the one person that allegedly had some play into the things that were going on with witnesses and certain things like that, they're going through the process now. So for you to say, should there be RICO charges against people who were advocating for Karen Reed to be free, is just absolutely insane. And he goes on. He's not done here. He says, unlike isolated crimes, criminal enterprises engage in a series of related illegal acts, demonstrating a pattern of criminal behavior. Okay. Where's the criminal behavior? Because all Karen Reed is guilty of is driving under the influence. And if that's the case, then I guess the Boston PD needs to be held responsible for RICO too. Laws like RICO, Racketeering Influence and Corruption Organization Act, are designed to target and dismantle criminal enterprises by addressing their structure and patterns of illegal activity. A conspiracy to commit witness tampering involves an agreement between two or more people to interfere with the witness's testimony or ability to provide evidence in a legal proceeding. This can include actions like threatening, intimidating, bribing, or misleading a witness to alter or withhold their testimony. Such conspiracies are serious federal offenses, and those involved can face significant penalties, including substantial prison time and fines. Wow. Talk about desperation. I've never seen someone who has a platform like this go after supporters of someone who's on trial. This is strange. It's weird to see. And the fact that someone would take the time to type this out really shows that they have a lot of hate for people who just supported someone who thought they did something wrong or who thought they were wrong. We got our guy Jim R, the happily angry lawyer, says, where do you come up with this shit? And then, of course, we've got the honorable attorney Doug Weinstein says, this is a stupid question. Again, it's sad and it's weird to see some people taking things so personally and taking this weird of a stance. I don't know why John thinks this would be a legitimate concern, considering now that Karen Reed's trial is over, no one's really going to be talking about Karen Reed unless you're talking about the civil suit or her possibly bringing suit against the Commonwealth or the Boston PD or the Canton PD, which is, again, possible. So I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. Again, this is for content, so it's getting some views, it's getting clicks, people are commenting on it. I'm unfortunately keeping it going here, but I had to address this just because this is so ridiculous. Anyway, I know y'all have something to say about this, but before we do, shout out to my awesome, amazing Amy in here gifting 5 memberships. If you got a membership from Amy, make sure y'all take a second and say thank you. She's always in here showing love and support in every way and keeping the channel and the chat continuously great. So thank you, Amy, for everything that you do. I love you and appreciate you. You're amazing. What y'all have to say about John DePetro's? Let me see. Standing up against corruption is now a RICO? What? He's a loser. What? No, just supporters, right? I'm trying to think of where the RICO is. But hey, we've seen crazier things happen. Why are they stopping to answer questions but have no comment? Yeah, talking about Tyrone Blackburn makes no sense. Let's see. I saw something I want to say. So hashtag free Karen Reed is going to be brought to court for RICO. No. People lost their effing minds. I think it's BS that Brian Walsh is on trial. The leading investigator is Michael Proctor. And they say Diddy is a RICO. Yeah. The feds need to step in and shut this down. This is insane. Rebuke all negativity and projection from the dark side. Let me see. Then they don't understand RICO. I think John is he's just doing this for engagement. I don't think he really believes this or that RICO could be brought up against the Karen Reed supporters. Their delusional hate for Aiden is wild to see. Yeah, I didn't even want to say that and put a name on it because John didn't. He's implying what he's implying and he's trying to get a reaction. It's social media. That's what we do. But yeah, people, I mean, Aiden was just out here advocating for justice, and for someone to hate on him for doing that is weird. Oh, shout out to Germany. We got Germany in the building. Good to see y'all in here. You can protest corruption. You can't protest corruption now. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Brown, in the building with the 5 bomb. He says, classy beats, much respect and love. I appreciate you as well, Mr. Brown. Still continuing to pray for your speedy recovery and your strength, because I know you're up there putting in the work. So always good to see you in here, man. Always good to see you in here. This guy just wants some attention. I agree. It's stupid. And I gave it to him, so I can't say anything. Look at the Walsh case and the O'Keefe's case. They actually investigated the Walsh case. Okay, I don't know that. Rico is with Chloe. Brian Albert is looking guiltier than ever. Oh, man. Definitely looking attention, clicks and views. Can't fix stupid. Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, they don't see the other side of it and they just engage with it. I think if we ignored a lot of this stuff, it probably wouldn't get the traction that it does. But sometimes you just got to call these things out. And Doug Weinstein put it the best. This is a stupid question. You know, anytime Doug Weinstein hears Rico, he probably flinches because, that YSL trial was insane. Shout out Mr. Brown. Yes, appreciate you. What's the next big trial? We've got a couple coming up. We've got Y&W Melly coming up. We've got Brian Koberger. We've got the Naziah Harris trial. We're definitely going to be tuned in for that. Got to see Jarvis Butts buried underneath the jail there. I wonder if the Craig Casey case will be reopened. I don't know what that's about, so y'all have to put me up on game on that one. So let me see. Let's go ahead. Oh, what did y'all say? We have Naziah trial. Yep. What about the trial with the 5th graders? What trial is that? I don't know about that. Proctor laughing at the frame of questions always makes him look guilty. That's so funny you say that. I asked Amy about that this morning. Because as many of you may or may not know, Amy is a body language expert. And I said, when you watch this and tell me what you think about his body language, how he's answering the questions, the way he's laughing. And maybe I'll let Amy say what she thought about this in the chat. But let's go ahead and get into this first topic. So we got another interview from Proctor. It's going to be short, sweet, to the point, not too much here, but we also have a couple other interviews I want to get into. The jury foreman from the Karen Reed trial is actually speaking out in another interview and is giving some more insight into what went on behind the scenes, what he felt, what he saw, and how deliberations went. But before we get into that, I have to play this clip from Proctor, and then we're going to hear from a couple people over on another platform about what they saw during this interview. Check this. This is insane, guys.
What do you want to say to anyone who believes the narrative, the defense's narrative, that you are corrupt, that you framed Karen Reed?
I laugh because it's such a ridiculous accusation. There's not one piece of evidence or fact to support that.
Oh, wait. He said there's not one fact to support that he may have set Karen Reed up. Why'd you have evidence for over 30 days? Why were you riding around with it in your car? That's one. What was going on in the Sally Port? We still don't know about that. Come on, man.
Because it did not happen. I would never do something like that.
Did you crack the taillight to make it look a certain way?
Absolutely not.
Did you frame Karen Reed?
Cap.
Absolutely not.
Cap. I don't believe you, my guy. I don't believe you. Let's go over to NBC News Boston. They had something to say about this interview from Michael Proctor. Insane.
So this brings us to our next viewer question. Amy in Chicago asks, could Karen Reed file a civil lawsuit against the Alberts, the McCabe's, or the Canton PD, or Michael Proctor?
Great question.
I don't know what she'd be suing.
Guys, do you think Karen Reed should sue? Should she sue Boston PD? Should she sue Canton PD? Should she sue the Commonwealth? I mean, shoot, should she sue the state of Massachusetts? Why not?
For Morgietta, but anything
anyone
there?
can sue anyone. We live in America.
That's true.
Let's not forget that. However, there's two really important things here. Number one, there's immunity. So departments in the Commonwealth, including the police and other municipalities, have certain levels of immunity that I think she wouldn't be able to breach that barrier, depending on whatever she would be suing on. And secondly, civil lawsuits take a really long time and a lot of money. And to what end would you be achieving that? I think that sometimes people have the spirit of lawsuits and they want to feel vindicated, but I don't think at this juncture that she would have grounds to sue these municipalities at this time.
I can't imagine she'd want to step back in a courtroom or a lawyer's office or anything else. More yet?
Yeah, she just wants to take out her trash and be left alone. I do not blame her. But Michael Proctor, back at it again, had something to say. I don't understand, from his perspective, why he would continue to do these interviews. Dude, we saw the evidence. We heard your testimony during the first trial. We saw what you said in your group chat. We saw how you handled this investigation. And we even saw during the trial people still trying to cover for you, like a Yuri, and saying that you conducted this investigation with honor and integrity when we know that's not true. I don't understand why he's doing this. He already got fired. He's not getting his job back. From what I understand, he's working in another state. So it doesn't make sense to me. And it's weird to see all these folks coming out and saying, hey, guys, look at me. I know Karen Reed's free, but I'm a victim, too. Like, get out of here. You got fired for a reason, sir. Let's keep it moving. We've got Howie Carr over here, and he actually got in another interview with the jury foreman from the Karen Reed trial. So we're going to hear what the foreman had to say. He's going to give a little bit more insight into what went on behind the scenes of deliberations. Here we go.
He's a good guy, isn't he,
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show, 844-500-4242. It was almost exactly 1 week ago today that the jury came back with the verdict, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty on Karen Reed. And it's the biggest trial, certainly of the decade in Massachusetts, national attention. And it is a pleasure today to be joined by juror number one. He was the fourth.
Where is he? Yeah, that's a good point. Uh-oh, hold on a second.
In Massachusetts, national attention. And it is a pleasure today to be joined by juror number one. He was the fourth.
All right, I might have to refresh this, guys. Hold on a second.
$40 helps to rescue 5 babies. Any gift will help, and all gifts. Not guilty on Karen Reed, and it's the biggest trial, certainly of the decade in Massachusetts, national attention. And it is a pleasure today to be joined by juror number one. He was the foreman of the jury, and he's really been a great source of information at various forms, including my newspaper, The Herald, and the Today Show. And juror number one is joining us for the first segment here, and I have so many questions to ask him. Juror number one, thank you so much for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show today. We appreciate it.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm so happy that she was acquitted, and so are the vast majority of our listeners. And we thank you for your work. And apparently, you were, according to Paula, juror number 11, you were a great foreman. You had a photographic memory, she said.
I didn't take no notes. It was a lot of just trying to absorb a lot of the information that was presented in front of me in evidence and the testimony.
Was there a point in the trial when the sort of the light bulb went off and you said there's no possible way she could have done this, or did you go in skeptical?
That's a good question.
I went in like every juror should go, is she's innocent until proven guilty. And there wasn't any moment that I really felt solid that she could do this. So, and then when I went into deliberations, we collectively felt the same way, and we all felt that she was innocent at the end of the day.
So there was no piece of evidence that Hank Brennan put out there that made you say, well, maybe she could have hit him?
There was no supportive evidence at all that
None.
the prosecution was able to put out there for lack thereof police work.
You know what? I like the fact that you said, and I think the Herald interview, on the first Herald interview, where you said, why weren't there any cops that went into the house? You said if it had been my house, if there'd been a body on my front yard, the cops would have swarmed in.
Facts.
And I think everybody felt that way. And that's
Just thinking about knowing that this was supposed to be the last location that this man was supposed to be, that John was supposed to be in. Why not just take a walkthrough or whatever it is, maybe anything? But there was none of those things happened.
And you also another phrase you used, a word you used that I liked. You said that they threw all this technical stuff at you with the guy with the blue paint and the guy who didn't know the difference between megabits and megabytes, and you called it jargon. I thought that was a very good way to describe it.
It's just, I feel like it was just a lot of stuff to just kind of, and we all collectively was like, even the first day when we started delivering, we were spinning because we didn't exactly know how to attack the evidence. And then come Monday, we all had our particular ideas and we regrouped together and we started the wheels rolling, and there we were. That's what the kind of the verdict we came up with at the end.
We had Alan Jackson on the day afterwards, and he was talking about how the judge one time he was getting testimony from one of his witnesses. I think it was Dr. Wolf, and he said that there were 49 objections from Hank Brennan, 49 objections, and Judge Cannoni sustained the objections every time, 49 out of 49 times. How was that seen by the jury?
Before he answers this, I want to ask you guys a question. The fact that we now have officially verified that this juror did not take notes, what do you think caused Judge Cannoni to pick him as the foreman? Because I think it's very interesting that this man would be sitting there taking notes, maybe to some people seemingly not paying attention, and she would pick him out as the foreman. I think it's interesting. That
the fact that that apparently the judge and Brennan were hamstringing the defense from examining witnesses.
Me personally, I feel
she did in the first trial too.
When I can't really speak that part. We didn't really speak of how the judge acted towards the lawyers or whatever. It was really small in that aspect. But my look on it, it was she was just trying to do the best she could on a lot of things that a lot of people was trying to slide things through on the defense and the prosecution side. And we was just trying to make sense of all the evidence with that. So she was just doing the best she could in what she had.
So you didn't think she was particularly prejudiced towards Brennan?
I wasn't even. That's the whole process. I didn't really process myself on kind of feeling what she was doing. I was processing myself on witnesses and lawyer and evidence, and that's what I really was sustained. Okay, but I see where we're going with this, and that's where my whole thing was. I wanted to see where each witness, each piece of evidence was going with. Why were they submitting this? What did it do with the testimony, and how is this leading on to proving her guilty or not guilty? And that's kind of my whole process was.
We're talking to juror number one. He was the foreman in the Karen Reed trial. Were there particular witnesses that you found particularly effective or ineffective?
Which part?
Who would be a witness that you didn't believe or you didn't like?
Oh, that's a good question.
I can't really say.
Deborah,
in large part, it was just a lot of holes, and a
Officer
lot of
Dever.
faulty memory at times. So I just had to weigh myself on the evidence in that process.
So
Man,
when the Boston police officer Kelly Dever said that she had a false memory, what did you believe her?
What I did was look at the whole picture of everything.
Come on, man.
In all aspects, me looking at the whole picture, like it. Let's make it make sense. Why would you say something so direct and then renege on it a year and a half later? So it came down to, okay, how credible is this? But at the same time, wait a minute, now you got me thinking. So,
hey, shout out to the foreman, man. I'm not going to play the entire interview. I'll leave a link to this interview in the description for y'all. Absolutely interesting. What do y'all think about this? What do you think about this jury giving some more insight? I think he did a great job. And the fact that he didn't take notes, I think was interesting too. Just sat there, listened to everything. I'm kind of the same way. I don't know if I could sit there and take notes because I wouldn't be able to understand them later on anyway. Very professional. He doesn't want to call any names. I'm hoping I can get him on the platform one day so I can maybe get some more names out of him and see what he was really thinking. But he's super professional and I appreciate his way of thinking because, man, if we could have a jury full of people like that, things might go a different way. And the state, and in this case, the Commonwealth, might be held accountable as well. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. And shout out to the foreman, man. That guy's, he's the man. Definitely the man. Let me see what y'all are saying in the chat. We got a couple of super chats in here as well. Let me make sure, and I gotta check on y'all because we've got over 600 of you in here and half of you have liked the video. Thank y'all so much. If you haven't yet, guys, take a second, like the video. It's free. We got Mr. Brown in the building. He sent in the super sticker with the one bomb. Thank you, Mr. Brown. He said, what is going on in here? Touch the like button. Yes, thank y'all for reminding me. I hate it when my false memories are so detailed. How does that happen? Her job as a cop is over. No one wants her faulty memory in the PD. Well, the commissioner probably does. Wasn't he the one that brought her to the office and helped her get the position she's in now? Well, I shouldn't say brought her to the office and position. But anyway, I think the jurors who have spoken out are trying to help the O'Keefe family see fault in the Commonwealth. And many of them have said that too. I agree. I agree. I think he did a good job of getting everyone talking about what they thought. What's nice is this juror knows the difference between innocent until proven guilty versus guilty till proven innocent. I agree. In trial 1, Judge Bev chose the guy who never took a note as the foreman. Interesting. He is an ex-cop. Apparently, he was telling the jurors that Aka, was hired by TB during deliberation. Oh my. They had to notice that Bev was being biased. What's the commissioner's name? Can we clone him for all juries? That would be nice. That would be nice because, man, you even heard, again, during the YSL trial, we had Dennis Byron. He interviewed an alternate juror and she was like, oh, yeah, I was going to find them guys guilty. They better be glad they didn't pick me over there making that rap music. Lock him up. Crazy. Wonder why he didn't put him on the stand. The commissioner. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point. Yeah, Michael, I don't know why. What's he gonna do? Deny, just like Dever did, say he had a false memory? False memory, ask Shaggy. It wasn't me. I agree. Nah, don't bring on Proctor. I would not. No, Michael Proctor's not welcome here. And I'm not sorry. I think the jurors are being nice, but I'd appreciate candor more than being kind. I don't think he feels, and that is what our system is designed for. Yeah, he definitely, it seemed like he took his emotions out of it. Let's see. When people lie, they always try and emphasize, their answer. Like, I did not instead of I didn't. Always a telltale sign of lying. Interesting. Nearly 600 people and 360 likes. The math, not math. Y'all like the video, man. Likes are free. Gaslighting. That's what I call what Dever did. Dever will be a desk cop. They'd be foolish to have her on the streets. Well, we've seen worse cops than Officer Dever, unfortunately. Officer Dever. The next time Katie has to testify against a criminal and defense attorney, I just bring up her false memory. It's bad. So bad. And we even think about the Aperture witnesses, right? We think about Shannon Burgess with his education being in question and how he conducts his experiments or tests, whatever you want to call them. Will there be other cases open where people were found guilty based off of Shannon Burgess's information, and they reopen it and say, hey, this investigation, these tests weren't conducted by a qualified person? Because not only were the Aperture tests garbage, but a lot of the information they've shown, you could look at it differently now, knowing that Shannon, I don't know, he's been aspiring to get his bachelor's degree for, what was it, 12 years or something like that? Just give it up, man. Just give it up. All right, let me find this real quick and then we'll move on to our next topic. Thank you again to everybody who's in here. So what was 17 years? Oh, man. Dever got a 46% raise after changing her testimony. Do the right thing. That's what happens when you do the right thing, right, guys? You get a 46% raise. I know your channel never disappoints, so I smashed the like button before I come to the chat. Thank you so much, Russian Aloha. I appreciate that. Sadly, none of these cops will go on the Brady list, as they all should. Did you see Judge Bev pull the Jen, saying she was her sister when someone asked? What? No, I did not see that. That's crazy. FBI cases are never closed. Watch out, Higgins. We'll have to wait and see. All right, let's get into our next topic here. I know we've been talking about this Diddy trial off and on. The Diddy trial, guys, is coming to a close. And it's interesting to see. I've been looking around and kind of hearing witnesses speaking out. I've been hearing people who have been covering this trial, and it seems like a lot of them are changing their tune when it comes to this Diddy trial. Some people are saying that Diddy may be found innocent. He could possibly be acquitted of some of these charges. We're going to get in here. We're going to get into it in a second. But I wanted to look at the closing arguments from the prosecution. Prosecution had a whole day yesterday to get their closing arguments in. As many of you know, today is going to be the defense's turn. We're actually going to get into the transcripts a little bit later from the defense and in another video, thanks to Inner City Press. But first, I wanted to see what the prosecution had to say during their closing arguments yesterday. Here we go. Shout out to ABC for this update.
Hi, I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. The high-profile Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial now in its final stage. Prosecutors presenting their closing arguments today. This after more than 6 weeks of testimony, some of it very graphic. The jury hearing from more than 30 witnesses, including Combs' ex-girlfriends, former assistants, male escorts, security guards, even another rapper and rival. The prosecutor in closing calling Combs the leader of a criminal enterprise who didn't take no for an answer, saying Combs, quote, forced and manipulated Cassie, Ventura, and Jane to have sex with escorts for his own entertainment and used power, violence, and fear to get what he wanted. Combs is the only defendant, but the prosecutor told the jury he did not act alone, saying, quote, he managed to do this for 2 decades because he used his money, his influence, and his inner circle to cover up his crimes. It's his kingdom. Everyone was there to serve him. Combs's children were in the courtroom today, including his 19-year-old twin daughters, who haven't been there since the first days of the trial. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he faces the possibility of life in prison. Later in the show, we have YouTube star Tisa Tells joining us live to talk about the commentary surrounding this high-profile trial. But first, let's begin tonight with ABC News Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky live outside the federal courthouse here in Manhattan. And Aaron, prosecutors gave their closing arguments to the jury. What was it like inside the courtroom today?
First of all, Eva, it was packed. For the first time since the beginning of the trial, every member of the Combs family was there, all 6 of his children, his mom. They all crowded into the row designated for family. At one point, Sean Combs even seemed to be, saying squish together a little bit to make room. But there were attorneys for some of the witnesses. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, was in the room to hear prosecutors give their closing statement. So it was packed. But for the start anyway, Sean Combs appeared pretty relaxed. He walked into the courtroom, he put his hand over his heart, a gesture toward his family, and he's been reading a book, The Power of Positive Thinking.
I'm curious, how was Combs? You mentioned it a little bit there. Did he interact any more with his family? What was his interactions with his attorneys like today?
A bit with the family. He did scribble a number of notes during the prosecutor's summation, writing them on little Post-its, handing them over to his attorneys. But at one point, I thought it was interesting. He sat far back, his chair pushed far back from the table, away from his usual confiding position with his attorneys, Eva, and had his head down, whether in thought or reading notes. But it seemed a moment where he might have been, as much as he can be these days, by himself.
I'm curious, Aaron, how long did the government's closing arguments take today?
It was almost 5 hours, and I have to say, it did not necessarily feel like it. The prosecutor's presentation for the last 7 weeks has been rather sprawling, and at times it felt disjointed. Witnesses testified that may or may not have had anything to do with one another. Today was the chance for prosecutors to try to tie all of that together, and all of the evidence about hundreds of freak-offs that the jury heard about.
And we heard this in several other commentators about what was going on during the trial. I think Harvey mentioned this over at TMZ. He said it seemed like there were so many loops that the prosecution was failing to close. And I think part of that is because there were so many people involved in this, and not from a criminal aspect, but there were so many, I should say, willing participants. And that's where things get weird. Because if someone was there, they wanted to be there, they were hired to be there, things get a little bit blurry. And it's harder to close the loop on Diddy just being this insane mastermind that was trying to build this criminal organization. I don't know.
Saw graphic footage of, and today prosecutors said a single freak-off is enough. That the jury just had to find that sex trafficking elements were met by prosecutors one time in order to convict.
Can you tell us more about the prosecutor who delivered today's closing arguments?
Christy Slavic is an experienced federal prosecutor. She actually has a background in gangs and violent crime. And I think of the 6, she may have been one of the more effective during examinations of witnesses, prepared, methodical. And that was, I think, the characterization today, a methodical, what they hope is a devastating portrait of Sean Combs, not only as a sex trafficker, but someone who led a criminal enterprise with a cadre of loyal lieutenants. It was his kingdom, she said. They were there to say yes, because she said over and over in a rhetorical flourish, Sean Combs would not take no for an answer.
The defense will have their turn tomorrow. What can we expect from the defense for their closing arguments?
Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo, lead counsel, is going to deliver the defense closing.
Nice.
He said it would take about 3 hours. I wonder now if he goes a bit longer than that. But the defense did not call any witnesses and relied on cross-examination to poke holes in the accounts of the witnesses. Look for him to repeat some of that and to portray Cassie Ventura and Jane not as victims of sex trafficking, but as willing girlfriends who participated in Sean Combs's polyamorous lifestyle for years.
And you know what? The interesting thing about this, I was surprised that the defense didn't call any witnesses. But seeing how things went, even in this Karen Reed trial, I'm going to be honest, guys. If the defense had rested as soon as the Commonwealth presented their case in the Karen Reed trial, I still was at the point to where I said, Karen Reed's innocent. The Commonwealth was supposed to have the burden of proof. They were supposed to show, hey, this is our case and we're able to prove it. I wasn't seeing it. And it seems like a lot of people are starting to feel the same way about this Diddy trial. Again, there's been scrutiny about what the charges actually are. Now the federal government is having to simplify that to help the jury understand what actually they're looking at. And then if you look at all the loops that weren't closed and some of the criminal activity they're alleging, they might be setting themselves up for failure.
Kontursky there at the courthouse for us. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Not to see.
Now to break down what we heard today, ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeer is joining me. I'm curious what stood out to you.
I think what stood out to me and what probably stood out to a lot of people are all the different ways that Sean Combs can be found guilty, especially when it comes to that RICO conspiracy. Now, yesterday we talked about the fact that they just have to find 2 predicate acts, and it doesn't have to even be the same predicate acts. If we're jurors, I can believe it be bribery and obstruction of justice. You can believe it's arson and sex trafficking. But even further into that, AUSA Slavic said, you know what? If you think there are 2 times that Sean Combs gave drug to someone else and there's a RICO conspiracy, that's enough. And so even within those individual predicate acts, multiple ones of them could carry the day for them in that top charge.
When it comes to a criminal trial, guys, I've talked about the civil side of things at length. We've covered and went through a lot of these civil cases that are being brought against Diddy. And from the civil side, it looks like a lot of these could probably be and will end up being settled. When it comes to the criminal side, on what we've covered and what you've seen, have you seen, going to the drugging, that Diddy has drugged multiple people? Have you seen evidence of that beyond a reasonable doubt? I don't know. The arson, we've already taught and had discussions about the arson. They're pretty much saying, we don't know about that one. Hasn't been proven that Diddy did that. The trafficking, y'all know how I feel about the trafficking. I think we need to find something else to put trafficking under, especially when you have willing participants and people who participate in these activities for pay. So again, what will the evidence show? We'll have to leave that up to the jury. But some of these things, especially if you're trying to find 2 of these predicate acts, I'm not seeing it.
What do you think that the prosecutor did today? Do you think she gave the jury a clear picture, a clear understanding of these charges, of this case?
I would probably use clear understanding, clear picture, but I'd probably go a little further, a roadmap. I think she gave them an excellent roadmap to say, if you follow these instructions, if you follow these facts, if you follow these elements, the only destination you can come to would be that Sean Combs is guilty of the charges. Talking about the RICO conspiracy, again, that only 2 needed to be done to find him guilty, so long as there's a criminal enterprise. But also the sex trafficking, that she conceded there might be some interaction between the 2 of them, especially talking about Jane, that first hotel night might have been consensual. But so long as there was 1 hotel night or 1 freak off or 1 King's night, whatever you want to call it, that's trafficking. And the simplicity of that and giving 3 great examples for both Jane and Cassie, I think really helped in creating that roadmap for the jurors.
Let's talk about the idea of criminal enterprise, because a lot of people watching all of this have been asking this question. Well, what was the goal of a criminal enterprise? Does it have to show some sort of goal?
I think this is the perfect definition that AUSA Slavic gave. And the goal is to force and manipulate Cassie, Ventura, and Jane to have sex with escorts for his own entertainment. And everything else was either to control them, meaning that arson of blowing up Kid Cudi's car allegedly to control Cassie to come back in, getting the drugs and distributing them to both Cassie and Jane to kind of ply them into doing this. The acts of violence, all of it, right? It was meant for this goal. And they're saying that there was a meeting of the mind, an implied agreement between those in his inner circle, being Sean Combs, to do this very goal.
And yeah, Cassie's going to be, again, the main victim number 1 in this trial. What is her testimony going to say to the jury? What are they going to decide? How are they going to weigh that? Are they going to believe? And has it been shown that Cassie is actually a victim of that? I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. Y'all are going to have to let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat. Seems like the prosecutors laid it out pretty straightforward. We'll have to see what the jury decides. And y'all are saying, y'all got a lot to say about this one too. Criminal enterprise is him using bad boy employees to help him do all that bad stuff. I understand that aspect of it. If you bring someone over state lines for sex, that's trafficking, in my opinion. They got to change that. I wonder why the trafficking thing is so broad. I'd be interested to know. Is it just so they can indict it easier? If that's the case, I don't know if I'm necessarily against it. But man, it just seems like It's you're walking a fine line between what somebody wants to do in their personal life and actually trafficking. I don't know. It seems super, super broad, especially in this day and age with OF and a lot of other platforms. No, it can't just be because of kids, because we're talking about adults in this case. Yeah, consent doesn't matter in trafficking, I don't think. Nobody was held at gunpoint, not even Cassie. I will give space for coercion. But again, the door was there. The desire to be famous was more important than being safe, in my opinion. Well, that's the thing. I talked to the guys in the comments and in the chat and watching this video about this. You don't get to make that decision. That's the part we have to understand about all of this. You don't get to make that decision. That decision is going to be made by the law, and the decision is going to be made about the other parties involved. So you're saying nobody held Cassie at gunpoint. Well, that's fine. But when it comes to consent and when it comes to how someone feels, and if they say they feel coerced and they may not have been coerced, then guess what? They are. What? You don't get to control that. All you get to control is if you're involved and participating in a certain thing or not. So if you take me over the state line and drink pineapple juice, you trafficking? I don't like the trafficking. I don't like trafficking. I don't like that. I don't like how it's being used here. The Mann Act needs to be revamped. I think that's why what they have to prove, it removes the trafficked person from the equation. That's why the financial records kind of screwed him. Well, they should let sex workers, prostitutes, escorts, massage with... let them get paid for their work. There is worse things going on in the world. I mean, is trafficking an occupational hazard? Is that the conversation we're gonna have? I would be happy to have that conversation, but I don't think that conversation is gonna go well. I mean, are we gonna say, hey, if you're a sex worker, if you have an OF, if you're doing meetups, if you're a massage therapist, I mean, hey, trafficking is an occupational hazard, you know? I mean, it may happen, it may not. Sorry, guys. I don't think I want to take it that far. But at the same point, I get the sentiment that if you're going to engage in, if you're going to be in a certain profession and open yourself up to being in certain positions, I think that should factor in, and it's going to factor into the jury, right? It's going to factor in when they see what Cassie did, when they read the text messages of Cassie being like, hey, freak off. Let's go. When they hear from the sex workers and they're saying, oh, I went over there to do such and such, and then it just went a little too far. Again, this is in the criminal trial. I don't want you guys to think I'm flip-flopping, because the difference between the criminal trial and the civil trial, when it was Shannon Sharpe and his girlfriend, his OF girlfriend, the difference there is that this is a civil trial, or a civil case with Shannon Sharpe, right? And the reason I said Shannon Sharpe's done, he's in trouble, is because it comes to consent. And when it comes to consent, especially in the civil case, good luck. Good luck. And now they're saying they have a video where Shannon's over there doing his thing, and she's like, no. You got to go. Now, if that were a criminal trial, it might be something different. But that's why you have to separate the two, because in this criminal trial, when you're talking about the trafficking, when you're talking about certain things, now we're going to look at it a little bit differently and say, did this just hurt your feelings? Or is this man actually committing a criminal act? It's tough. Handcuff him to the bed. I'm home. Oh, welcome back. I wonder, can we use false memories when the cops come to ask questions? What? No. Trafficking is about the intent of the actor, not the consent of the worker. I mean, trafficking, I assume, is different. I'm just saying, get paid for what you do best. Jeez. Hey, yo. Oh, man. It's broad because it's not just about sex workers. Yes, that's why I'm saying I believe that it needs to be separate. Like from a regular civilian who just gets, taken from the airport and then they wake up and they're in Mongolia or something like that. I think that person needs to be separated from someone who does meetups or someone who's a sex worker and they don't like certain aspects of what they did while they were working. I don't think those two should be in the same bucket. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just someone with a little bit, about this much of common sense. People out here trying to make money to feed themselves, or college has kids, some drugs. People just do what they can to make money. What? I'm gonna let you have that one. Why do these dudes emphasize sex so much? Like, come on. It always trips them up. Yes, that is true. Diddy was just brought into the spotlight to shine a light on a bigger issue. There are much bigger players in this. Yep. And the reason I think this thing was so shaky, I believe, again, this is me. Again, guys, what I'm about to say, do not take this to heart. Don't take it as facts. This is me putting my conspiracy theorist hat on. I agree with this. I think that Diddy was being used by the FBI, the CIA, whoever, for a long time. They needed to collect all the information that Diddy had acquired for them in a certain way. They did that. They got into the house. They raided the house. They got the hard drives. They got all this information, which we haven't really heard about in this trial, if you've been following it. And now Diddy's on trial for certain things not even involved with what happened at the house. So the FBI, they got all their information. They saw John Doe over there. Got this one. Hey, John Doe. Guess what we got? Yeah, I'm gonna need a favor. They got Jane Doe over here. Yep. Hey, Jane Doe. Diddy's been working for us, and yeah, we're gonna need a favor. So again, this is my conspiracy theorist mind. I think this has nothing to do with Diddy and everything to do with Diddy. Diddy was the middleman. He was the one who was collecting all the information. He had these parties. People had meetings. They had conversations. Cameras were everywhere. Diddy made a safe space for them to maybe be who they really were. And now the FBI's got all this information. I don't think this was ever about convicting Diddy. But I don't know. I could be simple-minded, and it might be even bigger than that. Who knows? 100% hung jury. Oh man, y'all think there's going to be a hung jury? So go in, do a massage, and zip tie the client. Boom. Adverted the kidnapping. Is that what we need to do, bro? Hey, listen, I'm gonna let y'all have that conversation. I'm not worried about sex workers. Y'all do what you got to do. I want to see how the Southern District of New York treats Abercrombie and Fitch case that has similar elements. Interesting. This Diddy case is a dog and pony show for all the low level thinkers. Yeah, people will never know. I mean, will we really ever know what happened? No, we'll never really know. Shout out to Les Cleaver in here. One of the hardest working guys I know. He said he's about to get a vacation. Congratulations, Les. He says on vacation for 9 days, and all yours, CEB family. I love you all, and God has blessed you all, and no better place to be than here. Thank you, Les Cleaver. State screwed themselves dropping and amending so many charges. I agree. Excuses for unethical behavior is enabling the issue as well. There are consequences for good and bad choices. Well said. Maybe looking for more info on Russell Simmons. This case is a distraction only. I agree. I'm with your definition, but I haven't been following the case. Sounds like there's an aspect of double standards, as there always is with the law, right? The minute they took away some of Diddy's charges, I knew it was just them giving Diddy embarrassment and some serious fines because he deserves more than 10 years, but they're not going to give it to him. Wonder what they do with the hung jury. Y'all think they're going to retry this if there's a hung jury? Man. I can't imagine there being a hung jury in this. If that would be wild. When it comes to RICO, I think there's a high possibility Diddy might be charged with RICO, especially the way it was explained here. If there's two or more of these predicated acts, I think the jury could find something. They don't have to agree on which specific acts, whether it's arson or trafficking, or it's aiding and abetting and drugs. So I think it's possible based on that the RICO could stick. I think they're just going to want to get him for something. No kidnapping, just it's a job for people. All these adult jobs, if that's what these people want to do to make money, it shouldn't be against the law. Oh, so you're saying just make it legal, so if they go across state lines, then it's not an issue. That makes sense to me. Like if they want to do it, regulate it. I agree with that. I won't be participating, and I don't think it's necessary, but hey, if you're gonna let them do it and you're gonna let them do it in certain situations, then make it legal so we don't have to do this. New York's working on it. It's interesting. Speaking of the Southern District of New York actually has put certain things in place to where parts of it are cleared, but no, I mean, then they won't be able to bring up certain charges, right? I agree. However, most faiths are very against that. Yes, I agree. We're still as much as people don't want to believe it, there are still a lot of conservatism in the politics. If he gets acquitted, it's going to only validate the behavior and the culture. Hey, listen, the culture is going to be validated in that behavior regardless. Do y'all hear some of this music that's coming out? Oh, I can't. We need to throw the whole culture away. I'm so done with it. I saw something the other day. I'm not even gonna describe it. And I just Diddy free or Diddy locked up, it's not gonna matter. The culture is absolutely trash and garbage, and it just needs to be thrown away. You should be able to fly folks out, but not go to jail. I got it. Yeah, exactly. That's what Tay's saying. Yeah, it just needs to be separate. That's what I think. And you got to separate it. For trafficking, the main difference is being forced or compelled and voluntarily going. Here's the thing, CPE, about that. It's not that simple, because again, the only reason we're having this issue with Diddy is because he's a powerful man, right? And because he's a powerful man, you can automatically assume that you're being forced or compelled. So Diddy doesn't have certain freedoms because of his power and status, right? So that's the problem you run into. Again, it gets so blurry. And that's why it doesn't make sense to participate in it, period. Because if you do that and you have a certain status, you're automatically going to be assumed that if the person says, oh, I didn't like it, I didn't really want to go, I felt pressured, he's so powerful, I just wanted to get next to him because, you know, he's Diddy. You're done. You're cooked. So we gotta separate. We have to get. I don't like this trafficking thing. We gotta get rid. We gotta shift it in another direction, because trafficking is not what it should be. Because all it takes is for the consent to be removed, or for someone to say, "Oh well, he didn't let me sit up front in the jet. I was upset." Trafficking. Nothing's wrong with work. The issue is moral, not legal. Just Somebody said something about the Mann Act. The Mann Act is so racist. Johnson & Johnson stock would tank if he's convicted. Yes, throw the music away, please. Oh, Tay, please don't get me started on this culture. I can't. I will be talking for an hour. Y'all know I already talk too much in general. Justice is busted in the last month. A predator and a murderer got off. Ooh. I don't know who's that's about. The culture and the music that goes with it, garbage. I agree. I forbid rap music in my house. Well, there's some good rap out there. When kids were here, now they're grown and appreciate not listening to it. Hey, respect. I respect that. Yes, I respect that so much. Shout out to Independent Thoughts. It's not necessary. It's not needed. He will get some time. I don't see him getting a not guilty because the jurors need some justice for Cassie, especially with that video. Well, here's where I'm torn on that, P, because they heard a lot from Cassie. They didn't just see the video of Cassie getting drugged through the hotel. They heard Cassie saying, "Oh, daddy." Hey, yo. You just bring out that side of me. Hey, you know what I'm feeling today? I'm feeling the freak off. What? So I would have had to been, and we weren't, I would have had to been so involved in this case and see every single witness and what they said to have a better idea of what the jury's thinking. But it's hard for me to tell because y'all see how critical I am of Cassie. I'm like, throw her whole testimony away. Can we focus on somebody else? The culture will not be the same when they give him no time, especially how he treated women everywhere. But Mr. Brown, go listen to the last album of a rapper that just dropped. I'm not going to name any names. Go listen to it. The culture doesn't need any help from Diddy. Trust me. If I fly out an OF guy, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to prison for trafficking. So that's the difference. Exactly. He should have taken that into consideration. He should have known better. Stephen G, expand on that. You are talking lyrics. What do you mean, Steven? You got to clarify for me. There's a lot of support behind Diddy, but it's the MJ/R. Kelly effect. If the monster makes good music, they can't be a sexual degenerate. I think also the tough thing with R. Kelly, no, I'm not giving R. Kelly any grace. The tough thing with Diddy is that these were all adults. There are no minors involved. When I heard and found out that there was no minors involved, I said, well, this is going to be a tough one. No means no. Stop letting people with money disrespect women. Well, I'm not doing it. I'm going to let you have that one. I'm not doing this on the Friday. Diddy posted some stuff. Posted off someone from the Intel community is what I think he's done. Someone, I don't know what that means. Amy says, in law, trafficking generally refers to the illegal act of recruiting, transporting, transferring, harboring, or receiving individuals for the purpose of exploitation, typically through force, but not always through force, fraud, or coercion. Coercion. Ugh. The exploitation can manifest in various forms, including forced labor, sex, slavery, other forms of commercial sexual exploitation, coercion. Hey, you know, if you come over here, I know this is what you do. Why don't you come over here and, you know, we can have a good time. I'll put you up in a nice place. I'll fly you out. We can go out to dinner. We can see a show. We can catch an NBA game. Trafficking. Don't do it. To this day, people defend MJ and R. Kelly with that victim blaming. That'll just be another case of it. Exactly. Some people get to fly or go across state lines to do the dirty Diddy, and that's not trafficking. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Individuals are forced into commercial sex acts against their will, often through manipulation or coercion. There's that coercion word, which is so dangerous. That's what they would have to prove. That went absolutely nowhere with Andrew Tate, thank God. And what should have been a slam dunk. You think it'll hold up with Diddy? No, Andrew Tate was not. You think Andrew Tate's case was a slam dunk? No. They said a 40-something-year-old man with. Okay, I'm not reading that. Can y'all not? Don't type that type of stuff in the chat. It would have been bad if they got tied up and held against their will. Even if the victim initially consents to commercial sex acts, their consent becomes irrelevant if the trafficker used force, fraud, coercion to exploit them. Coercion, again, is the word. Coercion is the word. I thought Tate got charged in the UK. Y'all, I've been kids parties for a week, fill me in. Now, I don't know. I haven't followed up on Andrew Tate's case recently. I know he had to go back to court, but I didn't, I'm not sure, so I won't speak on it. I just know the evidence I saw was BS. Oh, okay, I get it. Thank you, Amy. I proudly supported Karen Reed and John O'Keefe for the truth against corruption. Please hit the like on your way into someone's channel, new, and love your channel. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Yes, she was spotted at the airport. It's on TikTok. Oh, okay, you're talking about somebody else. I'm the opposite. I'm like, why does someone that rich and famous need to coerce anyone? You being rich and famous is the coercion. But think about it, guys. Diddy is rich and famous and powerful. If Diddy walks up to you and he's like, hey, I'm Diddy. I'm Sean Combs. I'm Brother Love. I'm going to dinner at such and such tonight. You look amazing. I'd love to take you out. It would be a good time. You'll have fun. And you say, okay. And then you go and then you leave. That's coercion. Just by him being Diddy, it's coercion. Say, oh, Diddy walked up to me. I was intimidated. I didn't know. I was worried. What if I tell him? How do I tell Diddy no? That's Diddy. He's Diddy, guys. How do I tell Diddy no? I saw the trial. I knew what he was involved in. I knew what was going on. The rich and famous is the coercion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tate, me and Tate too. We're all the same. How am I going to tell Diddy no? You're done. The imbalance of power argument is a cope. Yeah, it's sad. Just like the army, a private can't date a captain. The power imbalance is crazy. Not guilty. He pissed off the wrong people. I don't think you can convict on RICO. If they drop the heaviest charges, doesn't mean he's not a bad guy, but he's not guilty of RICO. I think the RICO's a stretch, but it's going to be tough. Amy said the feds kidnapped Diddy. Amen to that. Yeah, they've just been holding them there so they can be like, don't worry about it. You're going to get out. We just needed to make sure these hard drives were good. Make sure you make good on your deal. Your time's up, Diddy. We're going to check and make sure you're good, and then we'll let you go. That's not coercion in my books. Seems stupid. Your books don't matter, respectfully. I've been approached by a rock star in my youth. I knew better. It's a choice. Yes, I agree. But guess what? When it comes to these type of cases, when it comes to trafficking, we don't care. It doesn't matter. That's the great thing for the government or for prosecutors about coercion. It does not matter that it's a choice. What matters is that it happened and you felt coerced. The end. Imbalance of power only exists where there is actual power or authority. Someone's perceived awe or reverence of a celebrity really isn't an imbalance. It could be a perceived imbalance. It's all about how you perceive it. Think of, guys, there are whole cases that are convicted over consent. Consent is a perception. Oh, don't say that. Ah, you're going to make me throw up. Perception is 90% of the law, really? Oh, gosh. Jeez. Oh, man. So women who like hypergamy, aka dating wealthy men, can claim coercion. Yes. You know how many times that happened? There's a oh man. There's a baseball player who lost his entire career because he got together with the chick and she accused him of certain things. This man lost his entire livelihood over false allegations. Trevor Bauer. Like, come on, guys. Y'all seen the news. We know this happens all the time. And the thing is, you can be tried in the court of public opinion before you even go to court. Amy says she's going to break it down. She says the feds kidnapped Diddy. Y'all want to know why they are saying RICO? Amy's going to break it down. I said why the prosecution is calling it RICO. Yeah, and they mentioned it here about the couple of predicated acts. Let's see. 50 Cent baby mama decided to stay even though she didn't want an open relationship, especially if you need the 100K. Consent is reversible after the fact. Oh, God. Why are you guys trying to make me sick? It's almost lunchtime. I don't want... Remember, it's retroactive regardless of how long ago. I hate talking about consent. Consent is so scary. I've seen high-ranking soldiers lose their entire careers over perception. To be clear, that question was rhetorical. I know, but it needed to be addressed. Anything, unfortunately, that's the way society is, but I choose to not get involved in the area. This is a great conversation. Shout out to y'all. We just sitting up here talking. I love having conversations with y'all. Let's see. Amy's going to break it down for us. All right, here's what's going on with the RICO. Transport sex workers across the nation or pay them or pay for them at all, forgetting it is always illegal in the U.S. except for specific regulated countries in Nevada. So that's the one. So flying somebody out is illegal. This is stressing me out. Why is the law this way? Oh, you said counties in Nevada? Excuse me, Amy. I'll read that again. This is just... Thank you for a Slim Life for the super sticker. Amy's going to break it down. I don't know if I could do this. I might just have to call her. I can't. Amy says, this is why I keep... No, what do you mean no more being flued out? Someone's getting flued out right now. 100 people are getting flued out tonight. Just this trafficking BS has to change. This is, if we're going to have a whole platform dedicated to sex workers, that is legitimate, aka legal, but you can't get them a plane ticket. What are we doing here? All right, Amy, I'm gonna try. Dang, transporting sex workers across the nation or pay them at all, forgetting it is always illegal in the U.S. except for specific regulated counties in Nevada. That's the RICO. Forced labor and not pay employees. RICO. Threaten and beating up staff. RICO. Firebomb and break into people's homes. RICO. Kidnap people. RICO. I don't think that one will stick. Have a drug dealer on payroll. RICO. RICO. Extort the parents of Cassie who took out a loan trying to free their daughter. that one's not going to stick either because Diddy wanted to get his money back. So that one won't stay. Committing fraud. Commit domestic violence. Obviously. Get employees to conspire to crimes, cover them up, and clean them up. We have one of Diddy's former bodyguards. He got whole immunity and was like, oh yeah, guys, we did all this. Can I go now? Amy says, this is the breakdown of how the prosecution is saying it's RICO. I don't agree with the reach, but this is the breakdown. Yikes. Amy says, I agree. The laws definitely need to be changed. Do you hear the recording that keeps going off? It's a soundbite or something. Flying someone out for the weekend to have some fun is illegal. Yes. Wait, so getting flued out overseas is illegal too? Yes. Why should a man's life be destroyed because a woman decides she changed her mind and then lies? The accuser should be prosecuted for lying. Yeah, well, good luck with that one. I agree, but good luck with that. What happened to my body, my choice? I guess if you remove consent, that's your choice, right? Consent is, and I agree, very fleeting, and everyone needs to honor and respect that, even if it's very difficult to back off and show respect. Les, here's the problem with that statement. Years later, you can remove consent. We've seen it in so many cases, so I'm not going to keep harping on that. Yes, Tris, that's his sound bites. We like it. Sorry you don't. Oh yeah, if you don't like, okay. Tris said it's awful. Oh man, goodbye, Trish. You're a good guy. I respect you not speaking on some things. Picture a hairdresser, muscular, and a drug dealer man is. Oh, what? What y'all not finna do is worry about how I talk to Tate too. But what exactly does flued out mean? That means you fly someone out to have a good time. Use your imagination. He should have filmed it all for publication. I agree. Yes. 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 Then it would have been, well, no, because that could be revenge something. But you could record it for your own records and say, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Is flued in the dictionary? It sure is. I say flued. Y'all are getting hung up on flued out. Everybody said it's flown out. Yes, but it's flew. It's y'all must be new here. If Diddy goes down, Cassie should too. Nope, it's not gonna happen. I agree though. You've been waiting so long. I'm here to have a freak off. I know that I shouldn't have had you waiting at all, or whatever the lyrics are. Jeez. She was flown out to oh my gosh. Y'all are gonna leave Tatum. No, we getting, yeah, we doing flued out. Everybody says flued. Y'all don't say flued out. The only part I don't like, he was taping people without consent. Oh, Brittany's new. Welcome to the new people in here. I had so much else, so many other things I wanted to cover today. Y'all got me in here talking. Do y'all want to hear some of the closing arguments from the defense? I had like 6 other things I needed to get to today, but we up in here talking. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to nearly 800 of you that liked the video as well. I'm glad y'all are having a good time over here in the conversation. Disgusting, and no way he's not getting convicted. I agree, unfortunately. Oh man. If a man buys a woman a drink at the bar, it's the power dynamics, y'all. If being flown out is being used, where's the line drawn? We got to change the laws. We got to change. They got to change. They got to change, because you can't have it so one-sided. It's extremely one-sided. You can do meetups and you can do all this other stuff, but then the one thing you can hold on to is consent. Dang. Mr. Brown's ready to change the subject. Flued out is based on a meme. Yes, it's grammatically. We're getting into flued out now. Oh my gosh. Y'all take things so serious sometimes. It's a joke. Jeez. Man, I'ma still board them flights to Mexico and London. You can do that. I mean, if you're, yeah. Because guess what? You've got the power, right? You want to talk about power dynamics? You've got the power. If someone's flying you out, go. You want to go, have a great time. And then if at any time in the future, or a week or a day or a year after that, you want to say, you know what? That was a mistake. Your significant other finds out about it. You say, oh no, that was terrible. I was coerced. What? You win. You got the trip and you get to be a victim. Congratulations. You have been trafficked. I shouldn't joke about it, but it's all right. Y'all get it. ClassE, the reason why the judges picked this juror is because he was in the #1 seat. This is customary in her courtroom. Filming will not save you. Yeah, you're right. I think it should always apply. I think it should always apply to minors, not adults. Yeah, they need a separate thing for adults, and especially a separate law for sex workers. Especially. I mean, they need to have some type of insurance or something. I don't know what we're doing out here. 2025 is insane. Let's see. But RICO is an organization. Organization by definition is a body of people. Where are the others? There was lots of other people involved. For sure. So wait, if a man buys a woman a drink, it's coercion? No way. It depends. The petrol needs to be sectioned. Absolutely. It may come with the job. Oh, Amy's talking about consent. I don't know if I can do this, Amy. I know about this, and I know because me and Amy have had so many conversations about this. She knows how I feel about this. I've told y'all when we started this. I told you when we were covering Shannon Sharp. I said, guys, look into consent. Especially if you're a male, it's going to freak you out. Look into and understand consent. Go and look at Aziz Ansari's case. Go and look at all these other cases that have happened. I can't do consent. It's so bad. Amy says consent is bad. It's so scary. So scary. Here we go. I'm going to try and make it through this, Amy. And then we got to see what Doug Weinstein's talking about. Amy says, the hardest truth I have learned this year is that women are the gatekeepers of sex and social media. They hold the power over those things. They decide what is appropriate and inappropriate when it comes to sex and who is allowed to say things on social media and who is not allowed. Consent and cancel culture is theirs to yield as and when they want without any fear or favor. You can be the most vile, hateful woman on the planet and you will never be canceled. You can be as perverted as a woman or even a predator, and they will brush it off as, well, men have been doing it for a long time now. It's our turn. Oh. You can even lie as a woman about the paternity of your child, and years later, only to find out the guy you claimed was the dad is not, and you will not be held liable for anything. What? Zero consequences. Don't get me wrong. Women do get hate on social media or get bullied, but you will never cancel a woman as easily as you can cancel a man for being inappropriate or perverted, because they have the power to decide what is allowed and what is not allowed. And the law is on their side as well. And the sooner we accept this as gents, the better. Laugh out loud. We may run the world, but segs and social media is their world. Oh my God. I can't do this. I can't have this conversation. This is not the time for this. Thank you, Amy, for your thoughts. Man. We've got Libby22 Etsy girl in the building with the 5-bomb, says facts to these schmucks. Oh, what are you trying to say? Facts to these sex workers, get paid, y'all. What? I love Fluid, I really do. I love y'all, ClassE and Amy. I love my CEB family. You're telling them to get their money, huh? Yeah, get your money. Hold on to your consent. And if that person becomes wealthy, and if that person you're with is wealthy, you'll always have that in your back pocket in case you go broke. Shout out to the sex workers. Jesus. If a man I'm dating flies me out and I agree, I consented to go. And then if you change your mind, that's fine too. And he's in trouble. To say I didn't after is effing crazy. How did I get there then? Tay, it doesn't matter. You were a victim, Tay. Just say it and the law's on your side. That's what you guys, that's what a lot of people are missing. I won't say you guys. That's what a lot of people are missing. So a man can fly me out somewhere and I can go. To then say he coerced me? What? Welcome to the law. Yes. And the law here in New York is if you take a woman across country lines or county lines, excuse me, it's traffic even if she's your girlfriend. Guys, I can feel my blood pressure rising. I cannot do any more consent topics. Y'all living in crazy times. Every day I get more grateful for the times I grew up in. Hey, there was crazy stuff happening then too, witchy, bishy. It's just we see it all now. Those women who find out it's not the dad after years of getting child support, she have to pay child support back too, I think. Yeah, that's never going to happen. Good luck with that. I totally learned something new today. I didn't realize the law was this bad. I told you guys from the start of covering Diddy and covering the Shannon Sharp trial. Look into consent. It will scare, especially as a guy, it will scare you to death. You'll never want to go on a date again. If a woman says she liked it, then changes her mind a month later, he could get charges. It's wrong. I'm so against this BS. Then change the laws. Ladies, we need y'all's help. We need the women out there to help change these laws and advocate for this. But why would they, as Amy said? Because there's a power dynamic. You have the power of that consent. Scary. Shout out to Amy with the 10-bomb. Says, I can't do fluid. The primary meaning of fluid refers to the physical characteristic of having large hanging lips, often associated with certain breeds of dogs like bloodhounds. Oh my gosh. Are y'all still on that? Thank you for the super chat, Amy. I appreciate it. Goodness. Oh my gosh. Again, that's why women can't get married anymore. Oh, Ray. Amy, you hear this? You hear what Ray just said? Just had this conversation the other day. Ray gets it. Shout out to Ray. Dang. I'm not going. I'm gonna have to listen. If we're gonna have these type of conversations, I'm gonna have to create another platform for it. Cause sheesh. Oh my gosh. Les, it's crazy, man. I have a son. I refuse. Nope. I started. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. The law is fudged up. Yep. Y'all warn your sons. I've had many talks with my son. Educate them. Yes, some people can't handle it. Yeah, we're going to have to create another platform for this. All right, let's go ahead. I guess this is going to be our last topic today because I can't believe it's already this late in the afternoon, but I appreciate y'all for having the conversation. Thank you to all 500 plus of you that are in here. Over 800 of you would like the video. Thank y'all, man. I love interacting with y'all. Amy said we got to start another channel called ClassE and Trashy Talk. Oh, man. I went to a bar. A woman got me drunk. It was her fault. She handed me a few drinks. I consented when we went back to my place, but later decided she assaulted me after a few months of dating. Welcome to the law. Yes, then we can use bad words. Oh, no. This has been fun for the most part. Oh, man. Crazy. Oh, man. All right. The great conversations, though. I appreciate y'all for the conversation. So let's get into it. Diddy, what's going on right now? We have closing arguments from the defense. Guys, we're going to get into it. Thanks to Inner City Press and the amazing coverage they've been doing. We are actually going to get a live look of what's going down in the courtroom, what's being said, what the back and forth is, and what the defense is going to say is the reason that Diddy should go free. But before we do that, we've got to hear from the Honorable Attorney Doug Weinstein and see what he thinks about the case that the prosecution presented and what they had to say during closing. Here we go. Oh, I got it muted. Hold on a second. Why I got Dougie Fresh muted like that?
So my light reading at lunch was reading the tweets, the detailed tweets of the U.S.'s closing in the Diddy case up in New York. And I do not understand what they're doing. I do not understand why they are taking 4 hours to do this closing.
Me either.
I really thought, having read what I've read about the case, that what they need to do is summarize all of this, bring it all home, show how they've met the elements, and demonstrate how they have proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt for each of these counts. Instead, at least so far, the government is just parading the list of evidence that they've presented to the jury, while occasionally trying to demonstrate how some of that evidence meets the elements. But you know, I assume toward the end of this 4 hours, they're going to wrap it all up and bring it all together. But my question is, at that point, is the jury still paying attention? I don't really know. I don't know why it needs to be 4 hours.
I don't either. I would be passed out by then. So let's go ahead and get into what's going on with the defense's closing statements, or closing arguments, as they say. And I'm going to read these to you guys. Let me know what you think so far. Here we go. Shout out to Inner City Press. At 9:30 this morning, it just says, all right, Mr. Agnifilo, are you prepared to proceed with the defense's closing? He said, yes, we're ready to go. Here we go, guys. We've got, there is a trial set forth by the text messages. Then there's the trial out of the prosecutor's mouth. They are different. The trial from the evidence, what is it? It is personal use of drugs. That's all it is. That and swingers, a lifestyle. But the prosecutors have changed one of the most serious statutes on the books. They called threesomes and drugs as RICO. I want to thank you for your service to our country. I would love to speak to you for days, but it's Friday. I'm trying to be efficient. I have to cover a lot of ground, but I'll focus on the most important part. Sean Diddy Combs. Sean Combs is a self-made black entrepreneur. He has built a real business. He has built real businesses that are so outstanding that others create partnerships with them. We heard that from Derek Ferguson. It's hard to be Sean Combs. How many witnesses said they were moved? The assistants were moved by Sean Combs. It was like Harvard Business School. He pushed me hard. Did they always like him? No way. Let's not even go there. Did they like him? No, but they loved him. Even the ones who are suing him. Interesting. MIA? I'm not going to call. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Mia? I'm not going to call her Mia because that's not her name. I'm going to call her the witness who testified as Mia. Remember, Derek Ferguson from the Bronx? He said, there were not many hiring people like me from the Bronx. There's something more to these businesses. Sometimes the real things in life are hard. No one remembers the easy days. The people grew. It was real. It was diversity. These days, DEI, Combs was doing it at 24. The prosecutors call his businesses racketeering. That's the fake trial. What happened? He gets arrested. They destroy his property. They have a SRT, a special response team. They are clandestine, can't follow with the camera, rampant. They ran. His kids were there. And here, 6 of 7 in the second row. The 7th is an infant. This is who he is. The man who takes care of people. Jane came here and testified against him. Today, she's in a house he's paying for. And they found it. Boxes of Astroglide taken off the streets. They got the baby oil and the personal drugs. America is safer. 5 Valium pills. When you're doing work like that, we can't photograph you. That's the evidence. Let's keep going. Hold on a second. Here we go. What do? They wrap yellow crime scene tape figuratively around the bedroom, around the hotel room he goes to with his girlfriends. That's a lot of crime scene tape. The crime scene is your private sex life. What else does he say? No one called 911. They called civil plaintiff lawyers. This case is about money. Cassie Ventura sues Combs for $30 million because he has $30 million. If he doesn't have it, no civil lawsuit and no criminal case. This case is about 5 minutes. It's about love. Love has been said more than 800 times in this trial. The domestic violence, we own it. We did not ask Mrs. Ventura about being hit, kicked, or dragged. We did not cross Jane about it either, but domestic violence is not charged. If he was charged with that, he would have pled guilty. He did that. But he did not to racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking. He did not kidnap or bribe anyone. The first person to say this was about DV was Cassie Ventura. She made an Instagram post. She said, "Thank you for your love and support. The domestic violence is the issue." She could have said anything. She could have said anything. She could have said this was about trafficking. She didn't say that. She said it was about DV. Blame her. Oh, believe Cassie when she says DV is the issue. In that moment, watching that video, imagine that. Wow, so he's doubling down on the video. That's crazy. To see their relationship is to see everything that racketeers is not. I'm not going to go through a lot of text messages or charts or screen time. It's a terrible thing. Screen time, I'm told. I'm going to tell you the story of this case. They fell in love. Cassie had a boyfriend of 3 years, 10 years older than her. But she met, and that was Ryan Leslie, by the way. But she meets Combs and they are off to the races. Mr. Combs rents a boat and they make love for the first time. They're in an intense relationship for 11 years. Cassie is smart. She flat won. She gets $30 million and he's in jail. You probably know that. The nice looking man behind him, they are U.S. Marshals. They keep him safe. Cassie has won 100-0. They tell you she's a victim. This is a great modern love story. They didn't write these in the past because they didn't have these problems. He had 6 kids at the time. It's a relationship based on love. Cassie said she was young and insanely jealous. If you're in the jury room and you don't want to go home, read the text messages at the time of the breakup. You will cry. They were selfless with each other. When it wasn't going to work, the original sin of their relationship, that Gina wouldn't come here, but she's out here. Then Kim Porter passed away, and Mr. Combs said what he did. For Cassie, it was the last straw. She made an adult choice and left, like she always could leave. What happened? Nothing. That's a fair point. She got paid. Pick a message from 2018 and read it. These two people loved each other. If racketeering conspiracy had an opposite, it would be their relationship. They were their best selves when it came to sex. Cassie said that too. There were times that Sean Combs was proud. On sex, they found each other. It's a beautiful thing. You won't find a single text where she says, I didn't like that. Wow. It was an 11-year relationship. The issues were jealousy and the other women. That's true. But they match up when it comes to sex. Swingers, they was freaks. Hey, yo. She's a woman who loves sex, and it's beautiful. She is unafraid. Let's talk about Kid Cudi. He came in here. I'm not meaning to be judgy. Cudi comes in here and says, Cassie played me. She did. She played them both. Oh my goodness. Not everyone can do that. She goes for it. She liked Combs as she had a relationship with another singer-songwriter under his nose. She was not afraid of him. Was she going to tell either? Nope. Cassie is keeping it gangster. She likes it. I'm going to lie to both. Oh my gosh. Cassie gets a burner phone. Finally. That's what you expect in a racketeering case. She's the one who got a burner phone. The morning of December 22, 2021. The whole thing with Cudi and all that. She had 2 hotel rooms. Whoa, a room for the burner. She was not going to tell anybody nothing. Let's talk racketeering. The judge is going to give a legal charge later today, assuming the first one in 2020 and 2004 kidnapping of Capricorn Clark. Let's talk about her. She said, I wanted my life back. Capricorn Clark's parents passed away when she was young. I don't mean any disrespect. She told you. I'm happy she did. Others didn't tell you about their parents. She moves to the Bronx and meets Sean Combs. She goes super platonic. What? I think she means she didn't want it to be platonic. She's out there. You could see it. She says, you know, I had the biggest crush on you. I think we misused our dope chemistry. This is Capricorn Clark saying this. If she's kidnapped, why does she want to go back and work for him? She's getting her nails. She's getting her nails down with Mike B. Going to be mad at me. She says she called 1,440 and said, lock everyone in. She got the lie detector and Mike B did too. How was she kidnapped if she went home every day? Is the government alleging 5 separate kidnappings? Polly drove her home. Door-to-door kidnapping. The Southern District of New York is charging this as kidnapping. And he laughs. It's not kidnapping. Oh boy. You guys come here day after day, long days, and you come back the next. Have you been kidnapped? No. At the time, Sean Combs is raisin in the sun. He is running vote or die. He could care less about this. The lie detector was former FBI. You guys have the right to say, huh? That sounds like a stretch. Why charge it as kidnapping? Come to whatever answer you think is the right answer. Capricorn leaves for a year. She makes more money. Then she comes back. What? Not great. Next, Sean and Cassie are having a freak off. It's December 22, 2011. Cassie has 2 hotel rooms. Combs looked at her non-burner phone, sees messages with Capricorn Clark about Cuddy. Maybe called Scott in the text, something about hiking. Why would he have a gun? He goes to Capricorn. Why? She would do anything with him. Go to the moon. He didn't need a gun. He didn't have a gun. Cuddy said Cassie told Cuddy that Cassie already told Combs. Are you following me? Sean Combs has nothing to gain by having a gun and everything to lose. He is already Sean Combs. Capricorn would love to have stayed employed if he pulled a gun on her. No way. Didn't happen. No gun. Cuddy didn't say that Capricorn said Combs had a gun because there was no gun. Working backwards. Cuddy didn't tell the police about the gun. It was written up as a trespass. That's all. There's no gun. Capricorn's story falls apart. There was a car chase. Or was there? Cuddy pulled up next to the Escalade. The witness said there was no car chase. The judge is going to say to you, you can disregard any witness if you find something not credible. If you see fit, it's all you need. Seems like everything is possible with Capricorn Clark. I asked her. She said, I came up here with Puff. I want to run away. I'm afraid of mountain lions. Mountain lions? I'm not saying they're not scary, but if you were kidnapped with a gun, no. She doesn't want to say, I went there by my own volition. I'm not saying Sean Combs didn't go there. He wanted to fight him. Fine. Mother effer! Combs is not a coward. He was ready to fight. At the risk of being sexist, they are men. They fight. Ooh, what do y'all think about this? So far, so good. I want to get into more of this, but goodness gracious. I mean, Agnifilo is going off on this one. Makes a lot of great points. And especially the point that hit hardest to me was about the credibility of the witnesses. Boy, oh boy. The domestic violence that he mentioned, it seems to be the one thing that we really can look at and say, dang, Diddy, come on, man, you know better than that. But that's not what this case is about. How's this going to play out, guys? If you're on the jury, what would you be thinking right now? Let me know in the comments in the chat. I saw y'all were going off over there in the chat, man. Shout out to everyone who's still in here. This is insane. I hope the defense doesn't take all day for their closings. Did he attack Cassie at the hotel elevator because she got mad and left him in the room with the escort girl she bought? Ow! What? Were the witnesses threatened to be charged? Is that why they're testifying against Diddy? Big man. He also fights women. He definitely puts his hands on him. Sadly, I would have to send him home. Oh, Noah, what? She paid for the escort multiple times. He should be charged with DV, but Rico is very obviously an overcharge. Not guilty, says Brian. Oh my gosh. That's easy to say, but he had made them promises. If they didn't do what they wanted, then they would be blackballed. It's a double-edged sword, honestly. Well, and a lot of them, that was their boss. So you got issues there. There's so much fraud and lies in the system. He might be going home. I think the defense closing is going to make the jury mad, in my opinion. I think he is guilty. I realize not everyone thinks the same, but Diddy always lured people into a relationship, then busted out the FOs. Did he, though? To say always, I think, is a little bit strong of a take. I'm saying maybe he did it a couple of times. But again, we heard in a recent testimony, there was a girl that he was with that said she wanted to do it. And that was the reason she went with Diddy. And then she was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know if you can say luring with the freak off. Diddy is an MF. Just ask his artist. But he's not guilty of these willing participant charges. Dang. He made his money off the backs of actual talent that isn't self-made, in my opinion. Diddy is indeed self-made, not dumb, but he definitely made some unwise choices. Yeah, I think if you know, there's a lot of people who can speak to this. But getting talent together, finding talent, and promoting talent is not easy. Not easy to do. So I would still say self-made. Amy says, I don't feel sorry for Cassie. She got her millions. She got the freak offs when she wanted. At some point, I remember Cassie saying, at one point, she was saying she didn't want to do the freak offs, especially without protection, but she kept doing them. IDK, I don't do them. That's all I know. He didn't want to be with anyone who wanted the freak offs. He liked the fight. He's a billionaire. I don't feel sorry for Cassie either, but I don't feel bad. But I do feel bad she got abused for no reason at all. Was it no reason though? Do we know what happened in that video? Do we know what happened before? I don't. Boy, I'll be interested to see what happens here. Thank y'all again. We're going to get up out of here. Let me get a big shout out to everyone who stuck with us throughout this show. Absolutely amazing. And a special thank you to those of y'all who went the extra mile to support. Big shout out. Hold on. Let me double check and make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right, here we go. Big shout out to Slim Life, New Jersey, Lefts Cleaver, CPE, Stephen G, my guy, Mr. Brown, Kara Hampton. As always, we had Libby22, SC Girl, and of course, my awesome, amazing Amy. Thank y'all for the love and support. Thank you for an absolutely amazing week. This has been a lot going on. We're going to be dropping videos over the weekend as well. So make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. Hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend. Hope you have a great evening. We're going to be live tonight for Song of the Night Live. So if you're interested in hearing some music from the independent artists in the community, make sure you check that out. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace.